Hey guys, so today's video is going to be about fat acceptance stuff and body positivity, because I've noticed that seems to have gone away. Like, it seemed to become more prevalent a few years ago. Sorry about the changing light. It keeps going light, then it keeps going dark, then light, then dark, blah blah blah. It's really annoying, but there's nothing I can do about it. Until I get one of those lighting things. I believe there's one you can sort of put the phone on. It's got like a light that surrounds it, so it's kind of facing you. And then there's one where you can fix the phone to it, and it follows you around wherever you go. Dog's being noisy and licking himself again. Just wondering what that noise was. Anyway, so it seems to have gone away. Fat acceptance and body positivity seems to have gone away. It started to become prevalent, but then it seems to have gone now, and all everybody is focusing on again is like showing skinny people, whether it be in adverts, films, TV, and reality shows. They only ever show skinny people, and they might show fat people if it's to do with them looking horrible. Like, I don't know what shows they're on, but maybe like that dating program where it's specifically for, ugly people or something, and they put fat in the ugly category, which doesn't compute to me, because to me, I don't think fat equals ugly. I agree that just like with anything else, you can get fat people that are also ugly at the same time, but I don't think fat itself equals ugly. Like, there was this guy that I saw in a video, and he went on about like people thinking he looks horrible, like girls in particular thinking he looks ugly or whatever just because he's fat. And it's like, but it's not ugly. Like, it depends what the person looks like. I don't really think that they're all ugly. All fat people are ugly. You can get ones that are ugly, like maybe they're a horrible shape, like maybe an odd shape, like maybe their fat distribution isn't so good, like if they get it all on top or all in the middle, but then they've got nothing down below, and that can look a bit weird. Like, I know this one guy who's all like fat here in the middle, but then he's got like these scrawny arms, and he's got like no bum, and he goes in like at the hips, and then he's got like skinny legs. He's got no bum, and that looks kind of weird. So I can understand people like maybe saying that's ugly. But like if the guy is like filled out all over, or he's like bottom heavy, and he's like has a big bottom half, like he has big thick legs and thick thighs and big butt, and he's got a nice shaped belly that hangs over and everything, and it's all sexy. I think that looks really nice. And the same with women as well. I think they look really nice when they're sort of curvy. So they might be fat, but they're also curvy as well. They've got big hips and bum and everything, and a small waist compared. So I think that they look really nice. So I don't know how people can say that all fat people are ugly. That offends me, because it's not true. But it might not be your cup of tea. You could say it's not your cup of tea, but don't say, oh yes, it's not attractive. Like, it's mainstream not attractive. It's like, it does my head in, and I want to get it to the point where in society where fat people are considered attractive as well. Because I really like fat people, and I actually cannot stand the fact that, everybody hates fat people, and all women are not attracted to fat men, and all men are not attracted to fat women. It just pisses me off. So it's kind of gotten for me beyond just it being a thing that I'm into. Like, I keep trying to tell myself, well, you know, you could be into this stuff. You don't have to sort of expect everybody to be into it. And I try to, because otherwise I go mad. Because it actually triggers me. That's a key word at the moment, triggering. So it triggers me. It does get me pissed and riled that fat is considered unattractive, like, in general. I get that it might not be some people's cup of tea, but you can't say that, oh, it's unattractive and that's that, and nobody finds it attractive. That's when it pisses me off. So when they make jokes about fat people, or they say things about fat people and how they've got to lose weight, and or fat people are always saying, oh, I'm going to lose weight because I'm not attractive and no one finds me attractive. It's like, please don't. Because some people will find you attractive. I just hate that it's like the standard that, oh, all fat people are disgusting and they've all got to lose weight. It's like, no, because then I want to leave the planet because there'll be nothing left for me if they all lose weight. So it pisses me off. And the other reason why it pisses me off is because it means that there's nothing for me on TV. Like, when I watch films and TV series, I don't watch reality TV, but if I did, there's like nothing for me, because although, yeah, I know that the film is technically, or TV program is technically for your entertainment, and it shouldn't really matter what the people look like in it, as long as the film or TV program is good and entertaining and keeps your interest, like, in other ways. But I do like the bonus of, you know, to have something that I like the look of while I'm watching the film and enjoying the plots and stories and the entertainment factor of it. I like to also have that bonus of having something to look at that I find attractive, because they do that with other things, don't they? Other preferences, like they'll say, oh, we've got these directors or whatever, whoever it is, that come up with the ideas, probably like, oh, well, we've got to add in all these muscular guys and all these hot young girls in, so that the men have something to look at and the women have eye candy and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So why can't we people who like fat people have that? But they don't take us into consideration. So all I'm asking is, I'm not asking for everybody to like fat people now. I'm asking for people who do this sort of thing to take into consideration that there are people out there who like fat people, and they should at least have one fat character in it, but where the main premise isn't that they're trying to lose weight or that they're a loser or whatever, but just they're a person in it that happens to be fat. Because I'm sick of when there is a fat person in TV programs and films, their main storyline, plot line, their main premise of that character is that they're fat, they're unattractive, they're a loser, and they're trying to lose weight. You know, and I think I would actually rather see a love interest that's fat. Like, whenever they have these films, the love interest for the main character is always muscular and thin. And the main characters, if the main character is male, they're always muscular and thin. And the other supporting main characters are also thin. And if they're already fat people, they're extras in the background, and they don't get any screen time really much. You just see them like in the background, maybe walking past, and then that's it. Or maybe they do get like a scene, but it's really brief and short. You know, I want to see a main character. It doesn't have to be the main character, but it'd be nice if there was a main character in it that you saw often that was fat. And he could be handsome, you know. Don't get like a person that's ugly just to say, oh, it's a fat person, he's ugly, he's automatically ugly because he's fat, because the two are the same thing. It's like, no, don't do that. Because I've noticed when they do pick fat guys, they always pick the ugly ones. But there are good-looking fat people. It does exist. There are good-looking fat guys, there are good-looking fat girls. You know, why not pick them? At least they look nice. You know, even if you don't like the way the body looks, at least you like the way the face looks or whatever. And then us fat admiring people get to have something to look at and get a bit, you know, excited by. Because it's not fair that we don't get to see anything. Because to be honest with you, I've not seen a fat person for a long time. I've seen them like out in public when I've been out and about, but I'm not like seeing them properly, if that makes sense. Like in anything that I watch, anything that I see. And it's not fair to people like me. Because, you know, my loins are dead because I haven't seen anything attractive for such a long time to me. So yeah, it would be really nice if they took people who are into fat people into consideration and put somebody in it that's fat, and maybe have like some screen time where they're shirtless, maybe, or at least in fitted clothes so you can see all their fat, sexy bodies. You know, it would be really nice. Or if there's like a pool or a beach scene where people are going to be shirtless, you know, men are going to be wearing their swimming trunks or whatever, show a fat person or two. Maybe extras with a little bit of screen time or a bit of, you know, a scene, like you know, lines or whatever, where they have lines. It would be very nice. I would really appreciate that. I would really like that very much. Because, yes. And bikinis, like, you know, for a woman in a bikini, and, you know, that's bigger as well. That would also be lovely. That would be lovely. I'm surprised because there's quite a big, wide community of fat admirers and feeders and gainers and stuff. So I'm surprised they've never like brought this stuff up and sort of got upset about it and pissed off about it. I'm surprised that no one else has complained about it. Like, it just seems to be me. And there must be also a whole community of fat acceptance movement people and body positivity people, but they don't really seem to be asked about this or bring this up. So I'm really quite surprised. I mean, there are a few like channels who have made videos about liking fat guys, like girls talking about fat guys and why they're great and why it's good to date a fat guy. But I find they're just all about going on about the personality, like because they're automatically fat, they're automatically going to be nice and have a good personality and stuff and treat you right. And that's the only reason why you like these girls say that they like fat people, basically. That's all they mention. They don't mention about the fat guy actually being sexy. Like they like the body type. They just like the fat guys because they think they're going to be more humble and treat them better or something. And I'm like, no, that shouldn't be all it is. Like I say, for me, I actually do get turned on by the body. By all the fat, blubbery, sexy flabbiness. So, you know, but these girls never actually talk about that, really. And it's wrong, really, because just because a guy's fat doesn't mean to say they're automatically going to be nice and have good personalities either. And they do say that, oh, well, you know, because basically these girls are saying is that because these guys are fat, they're automatically going to have worked on their personality because their body is duff, their body's no good, their body's not attractive. And for a start, for one thing, that's still insulting, that's still implying that they're unattractive, but they'll have a better personality because they've had to get a good personality to make up for having a duff body, a shite body, an ugly body, you know. And the other thing that implies is, well, they're okay with a muscular guy treating them like crap because the body being good and attractive and hot makes up for that. So that's what they're saying, that it's okay for a muscular guy to treat them like crap because they make up for it with having a great body. I say in quotes because it's not technically a good body, it's just a good body to those particular people that are into that. And, well, the fat person, they have to have a good personality because they have to have something to compensate for having a crap body. So it's still insulting because there's loads of comments on these videos saying, oh, you're wonderful, and oh, I wish there was more girls like you. And I'm like, really? They're just after you for your personality. How insulting. Yeah, they don't, but yeah, wouldn't these guys like to know that they the girls, I mean, yes, it is important to like someone for their personality, and it is important for a guy to have a good personality. It doesn't matter what body shape he is. He has to have a good personality, and he has to treat the girl right. He has to treat me right, and good and considerate and kind and everything. You know, that's a given. It doesn't really matter what their body is. It doesn't matter if they're muscular or fat, you know. But I'm pretty sure a lot of guys would like to know that these girls do actually like their bodies as well. Like that their girlfriends are really turned on by them if they're fat. And I would like you to know that I would like you for your personality and your body as well. I would still get turned on by your body if you're fat, especially pear-shaped or evenly fat all over, at least. I don't really find top-heavy fat guys attractive. Like I say, it depends what they look like. I can't say I like all fat people. Yeah, I guess girls can say they like all muscular people. I mean, I've seen my fair share of muscular guys, and I can say, oh, they look nice, but they don't look nice. So even if I was into that, I would still be selective. Yeah, because some look horrible. I mean, it depends on what their personal body looks like as to whether they're going to look good like that or not. So, and the other topic I want to bring up is that if I wasn't into fat people exclusively, which I am mainly into fat people, I couldn't even imagine dating someone who's muscular. But if I was not into fat people exclusively, and I was into a normal body size, I would still not like extremely muscular guys. Like all these guys that these women rave over in this day and age. Like, do you remember back in the 90s and early 2000s when most guys were like, you know, the body type that was considered good was just, they were muscular, but they weren't super, super, super ripped. Like with every muscle bulging out, like a six-pack being on display and big, massive shoulders and massive muscles and big defined pecs and this thing that goes like that, that's a muscle here. I don't know what that's called. But that wasn't the case back then. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, they were obviously toned, but they weren't ridiculously super defined, chiseled, jacked, ripped. They were just sort of soft muscles. So this obviously still had some fat on them as well. And they had maybe soft abs. Or maybe it just like a soft middle, but not like flabby and fat, but they'd have a soft middle. And then it'd have pecs, and then it'd have like big arms, but were like a mixture of fat and muscle. Now, to me, that's attractive. I don't like Joey. Remember Joey and Friends? The way he looked? To me, he looked good. So you saw him shirtless a couple of times. He looked good to me. That sort of body. I don't remember seeing the others. I saw Ross once, but I've not seen that for a long time, so I can't remember. But yeah, part fat, part muscle for me is more attractive than super, super ripped, rock hard muscles and abs and everything. To me, that does nothing for me. But if I was into a guy that's not fat, you know, that's the type I'd go for. But I can't even give you an example because there's nobody looks like that. They're either fat, chubby, out of shape but thin, or they're super, super jacked and ripped. There doesn't seem to be any in-betweener men anymore. At least none that are actually shown. I have actually seen plenty of them when I'm out and about, the sort of muscular, but they still have a soft middle. I have seen plenty of them in real life, but with shirts on, you can't really see what they look like. Obviously, they're probably ashamed of having a softer belly, even though it's not like massive, but they're still ashamed to have the slightest bit of fat on them. And I think that's ridiculous as well. I think, you know, talking normie, as long as you're not massive, surely it should be okay to have a little bit of meat on your bones. I don't get what's with everybody and being obsessed with being super skinny for women, and men wanting to be super chiseled and muscular. They're like no ounce of fat or flab or softness on them. I don't really get this culture and everybody wanting to either be bulging bones everywhere and bulging muscles and rock hard everything, and there's no softness. Like, I thought people go on about how they want something to grab onto, but I don't see this happening with what everybody says that they're into. Everybody seems to be into, again, no meat on the bones whatsoever. It's like, why I get like people sort of frowning upon super obese because that's unhealthy. I get that. But I don't really get why the slightest bit of fat is a problem. Like being slightly chubby, or like I say, part muscular, part fat, where they've got muscles but then they've got a soft belly. I like that. That's nice, because I do actually quite like big arms. So I don't mind if they're muscular as well as fat. But this area for me has to be soft, even if they weren't fat. Even if I wasn't into fat, they'd still have to be soft around here. You know, just a little. So it could be either soft abs or just completely soft. That's the type I would be into, if I was not a fat freak, you know, fat admiring buff freak. Fat admiring. If I wasn't obsessed with fat people. So yes. So if I was normal and into a normal size, that's what I would be into. Now, there was a video where all these women got interviewed. And the interviewer, the question that she asked was, you know, would you date a fat person? Do you like fat guys? She asking women this, obviously. And a lot of them said no. A lot of them said they've never thought about it before, but they haven't dated a fat person before, but not like where they've deliberately gone out of the way not to date them. And others said that they would consider it if, you know, he had a good personality. So pretty much they wouldn't go for them for their body, because they're not into fats. They would just consider dating them if they have a good personality. So again, basically, no, they don't like the fat body, the fat physique. They're just saying that to make themselves look like less of an arsehole, saying, well, I would consider it if he's got a good personality. Yeah, but then there was one person who said that they like them not too muscular but not too fat. So, like me. So they have to have a bit of muscle, a bit of fat. So somebody did say that. But it was like one person. It was like, that should be the standard. That should be the standard that men have to be put. Because the standard for men's bodies is too high. It's got to be really muscular, like I say. Why can't you just, like I say, be part fat, part muscle? I don't get why that can't be the standard that society wants to put upon men then. That women want to put upon men. You know, saying, oh, well, you know, I'm a woman, I want you all to be part muscle, part fat. Like it was back in the 90s, because that's the ones I saw mainly back then. So I thought that was more attractive. So yeah, so that's my thing anyway. So I just wanted to say that I think things should change to where every body size and shape should be considered for being attractive. It should be considered for being on the TV. It should be just considered by everybody in society. You don't have to be attracted to them, I guess. But it would be nice if people had a choice. Did you just hear that? What the hell was that? I was talking, so I don't know. Did the dog just fart then? Ugh, that's gross. Or did he burp? I don't know, I'm hearing all sorts of noises. Sorry for the interruption. Anyway, I just wanted to acknowledge it just in case you heard it and thought it was me. It wasn't. It was the dog, I think. It's definitely coming from over there. Yeah, so I just want to let you know that, seeing as how nobody else has brought this issue up, I've not seen any other videos talking about this subject. not even within the fat community, the fat admiring community, the fat acceptance community, nothing. I've not seen anything, I've not heard anything, so I wanted to broach these subjects. Sorry if it's a really long video, it's like 25 minutes long, but I just wanted to get all this out so that people know that, especially men, know that not every woman in the universe likes this one type of man, and that there are ones out there who actually do find fat people attractive. And I don't really consider it a fetish, because most people in the fetish, especially like women that are going to be attracted to fat men or whatever, or men attracted to fat women, it's always to do with like them being submissive, like the fat person's submissive, and the person that's into them is just like the dominant one and would be like, you know, so it's kind of been put into this sadomasochistic sort of light, and for me that's not it. I don't consider fat men or fat people in general like inferior or weak or submissive. Quite the contrary, I think of them as more dominant and more powerful, because obviously being a bigger size, it makes sense that they would be, you know, big and strong and powerful. They would be the dominant ones. They would be higher in rank because they're bigger. And thinner people would be, you know, they would be the more submissive ones, if any of them are going to be submissive and dominant, I mean. But yes, that's always what it's been for me. The fat person has always been the powerful, high-ranking one. Not the one in the subservient, inferior, weak sort of role. But that's just me anyway. I might elaborate more on that in another video, but it's already getting very long, so I'm going to stop it here. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And before I go, I just want to also mention that I'm considering maybe creating and writing stories for people who like fat people. Yes, so subjects will be about fat people being put into a good light and in a sexual attractive light, because there are lots of stories like about, you know, like these sexy saucy books where they describe all the sexual things that they're doing, and it's supposed to be like porn for women, these books, aren't they? Well, I've decided to do like one for people who are into fat people. So the book will be like where, you know, maybe a woman is having sex with a fat man. And he's the one she's lusting after. So he is like the sexy love interest. And I'm also considering like doing calendars specifically with fat people in, because I've noticed there's no calendars with fat people in. It's always muscular people or thin women, you know. So I've decided maybe I will make a fat one, but I'd have to have models, of course. And I'd have to do volunteer because I can't pay them. But I am considering this along with my series, because as you guys know, I'm also creating a series which is centered around a universe where fat people are considered higher in rank and the attractive ones. So I'm also doing a cartoon series about that. It's also about the mafia. So it's like mafia, fatness, and furries are involved. So yeah. I thought people might like that because I've not seen anything like that sort of done before. So it's going to be a cartoon about furry mafiosis, and the high-ranking dominant ones are fat. The less high-ranking ones, the lower-ranking ones are thin and shit. So yeah. Okay, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm gonna make a Kickstarter for that, so you know you can support me on that. I'm gonna do Patreon as well. You can support me on that. I'll give you my email address so that you can request certain things if you want, like certain videos doing or whatever, and you can pay me for them. All right, that's all for now.